Joseph W. Brady describes the greater post-election issue, tells why he does not think Democrats will try to stack the Supreme Court, and projects who will be a major GOP impact player in years ahead.
Well, Terry, I would lie if I didn't say I was disappointed that Trump didn't win. Trump is Trump, and we could debate what he does personally all the time. He was great for the economy. He was great for the stock market. He was great for getting rid of regulations. Okay, I think he made us feel good. How he went about it with his tweets, I didn't always agree. Neither did my wife Deb. But we are where we are. So today, President-elect Biden will be our president. Kamala Harris will be our vice president. I'm more concerned about her than I'm about him. Okay. The thing that makes me feel good about Biden is that he knows McConnell. Okay. Okay. I mean, he knows, and he knows our friendly senator from North Carolina, Lindsey Graham. Okay, so they've got a working relationship. So at the end of the day, it was very similar to the war kind of that John R. Pinkerton and I had at Victory Valley College at one time. I mean, we not only learned how to work together, but we enjoyed working together, and we were able to work on things on an opposite side, but we always came together and figured out about students. So I think that the big issue, obviously, like everybody knows, is what's going to happen in Georgia. I believe that at the minimum, I absolutely believe, based on everything I've read and people I know, that we'll pick up at least one seat in Georgia. The bigger issue is this. We picked up quite a few seats, a lot more seats in Congress than what we thought. And now the numbers and the projections clearly show that we should gain control, full congressional control, by 2022. So some people watching this might like Nancy Pelosi. I don't like her because I don't like her games. I don't like the fact that she can fly in a private jet to and from Washington all the time. Lives in a part of San Francisco that Deb and I used to like to go to. We'll never go to again. It's just riddled with homelessness and drugs and all kinds of stuff. Let's say, for instance, that the Republican Party lost Georgia, and that Schumer, who I don't like. I mean, I've seen Schumer talk about the wall and how much we needed the wall years ago, and now he's against the wall, and he kind of flips flops. I respect a politician who I may not like or trust if they have the same issue that they fought for 30 years. But when you say 6 years ago that the wall needed to be put up and that DACA needed to do this, and then you kind of reverse, then I kind of wonder. There's people that are obviously very worried that if the Senate were to change hands, that they would stack that the Dems would try to stack the Supreme Court. As much as I believe that they would try to do that, I think politically they would be taking such a chance and such a risk. Terry, it was probably a week after the election. Okay, we all knew what had happened. We were all kind of bummed. And Deb and I are sitting outside one night after work, and we got talking about that. And she said, well, what would happen? I said, candidly, Deb, I would get in the car and I would drive back to Washington, and I would stand my ground with probably millions and millions and millions of Americans. And she said, are you kidding? I said, we live in the greatest country in the world. We have the greatest freedoms in the world. You can start with a dime here and make billions of dollars. Okay, we live in a great place. We're free to go where we want outside of COVID and whatever our governor says. But this is our country. And if we don't defend our country, Terry, then who's going to do it? And there are enough people. I'll tell you this, whether you like the Trumpers or not, or the anti-Trumpers, the people with the thing I like about many of the people with Trump, okay, is that they believe in our country. They believe that you stand, you put your hand over your heart when you have the national anthem. They believe in God. But at the end of the day, I do believe that the Senate would be a whole lot smart. By the time that they get to that point, there's an election right around the corner. We have a congressional election in 2 years. So I think that those are some of the safeguards. I think what kind of concerns me is that we need to rein in spending. We need to decrease the deficit. I mean, Trump obviously spent a little bit of money. His predecessor nearly doubled the national debt. I shouldn't say that he doubled it. I think that under Barack Obama, he brought in, it was like $9.5 trillion. So under the plans that we've seen so far, what Biden wants to spend and what he wants to bring in, and sure, he's going to have to increase some taxes. And I hope that Hunter, his son pays some taxes. I'll tell you one thing, Terry, that I don't think that everybody understands is when and I think you and I heard the same stat that during the election, that 36% of Democratic voters that had voted said that they had never heard about Hunter Biden. Well, they did because the media absolutely hated Trump so much. I mean, I've never seen so much hatred. I mean, I love watching Meet the Press. But you watch these guys and they just hate Trump versus saying, okay, well, we have a difference. So I'm still feeling good. I mean, we live in the greatest country in the world, and I think that there's some checks and balances, and I think that there are people that truly care that will do great things. I'll tell you one thing. One of our greatest assets is Jay Obernolte. I think he's going to be absolutely the best, by far best congressman this region's ever seen. Now, not to say that Jerry Lewis was not, but Jerry was able to bring in the pork. I mean, he was able to bring a lot of pork, and I mean, he wrote the book on pork, but they don't allow that anymore. And God bless you, Jerry. I mean, I love you, and I know you're in your late 80s. You did a great job for us. I mean, when you talk about bringing in the pork, he was the guy. But I think if you're talking about somebody that's going to make things happen, going to hold people accountable, it's going to reach across the aisle, make things happen, you watch in the next 4 years, Jay will absolutely be in a leadership role. And I'm going to tell you, you give him time because he doesn't need his job here in California. He doesn't need the lifetime retirement. You give him some time, and I think that Jay's going somewhere big. And I'll tell you, we love him, and I'm going to tell you this. We're all very, very proud of him and his family, his wife. And I mean, they really stand for the right thing, and they're giving. So that's where I believe that there's some checks and balances with guys like Jay Obernolte at a congressional level. So hopefully that answers your question. And 2021 is going to be hopefully a lot better year than 2020 was. That's going to be the best year ever. So.